The morning sun stretched across the campus like a promise, lighting up the faces of hundreds of new students who had come chasing dreams bigger than their fears. Among them were three young men, Tunde, Sola, and Emeka, each carrying a different story in his heart. Tunde walked quietly, his shoulders slightly bent, used to being overlooked and reminded that he was never enough. His family had never believed in him, and their words echoed louder than the noise of the crowd. He had learned to depend on no one, not even himself. Sola, on the other hand, walked with loud confidence, laughing and greeting strangers as if the world already belonged to him. His parents had sacrificed everything to send him to school, trusting him completely. But he wore that trust like a loose shirt, carelessly. Then there was Emeka, calm and focused, his eyes filled with quiet determination. His family's encouragement had shaped him into someone who believed in effort, patience, and growth. As they unknowingly crossed paths that morning, none of them realized that their journeys would one day teach them the true meaning of family. Classes began, and the differences between the three became clearer with each passing day. Tunde sat at the back, afraid to speak or ask questions, convinced that he would fail no matter what he did. Even when he understood something, he kept quiet, as if success was not meant for him. He avoided friendships, thinking no one would value him anyway. Sola quickly became popular, but not for the right reasons. He skipped lectures, spent his nights partying, and wasted the money his parents sent him. He laughed at seriousness and called hard-working students too dull. Meanwhile, Emeka balanced his studies and friendships, always remembering why he was there. He called his parents often, not because he had to, but because he wanted to. He respected their sacrifices and worked hard to honor them. The first semester exams approached like a storm, and the tension on campus grew thick. Tunde panicked, not because he hadn't read, but because he didn't believe his reading was enough. He stared at his books but saw only failure. His fear held him hostage, and he entered the exam hall already defeated. Sola didn't panic at all. He believed he could somehow figure it out without studying. He joked about exams, brushed off warnings, and relied on luck. Emeka, however, prepared steadily. He studied daily, asked questions, and even helped classmates who struggled. When the results came out, Emeka passed with excellence. Tunde barely passed, and Sola failed most of his courses. For the first time, the consequences of their choices began to show. Tunde's small success didn't bring him joy because he still heard his family's voices telling him he was nothing. Instead of building confidence, he sank deeper into doubt. He avoided checking his results again, afraid that the next time would prove them right. Sola laughed off his failure, but when his parents found out, their disappointment was heavy. They reduced his allowance and warned him to change. Instead of reflecting, he grew angry, blaming them for not trusting him anymore. Emeka, meanwhile, celebrated quietly with his family over the phone. Their joy fueled him, pushing him to aim even higher. One evening, Emeka found Tunde sitting alone, staring into nothing. He sat beside him and started a conversation, not with pity, but with understanding. For the first time, someone listened to Tunde without judgment. Slowly, Tunde opened up about his past and the weight of his family's words. Sola overheard their conversation and laughed, calling them too serious. But deep down, something about their bond made him uncomfortable. He had everything Tunde lacked: support, love, resources, yet he was the one wasting it. Still, pride refused to admit it. As semesters passed, Tunde began to improve thanks to Emeka's encouragement. Though he still struggled with confidence, he started believing that maybe, just maybe, he could do better. Small victories became his stepping stones. Sola's situation worsened. His grades dropped further, and his family's trust broke completely. Calls from home became tense, filled with silence and disappointment. Instead of fixing things, he drifted further into distractions, trying to escape reality. Emeka, consistent as ever, grew academically and personally, becoming a leader among his peers. One day, Sola received a letter. He was on the verge of being expelled. The news hit him harder than anything before. For the first time, he felt fear, real fear. He realized that he had thrown away something many people never even had the chance to get. At the same time, Emeka achieved something he never thought possible. He scored one of the highest marks in a difficult course. When he saw his name on the board, he didn't believe it at first. Emeka stood beside him, smiling, reminding him that he had earned it. It was a moment that began to rewrite Tunde's story. Sola finally returned home during a break, expecting anger, but what he saw instead was sadness. His parents were not shouting, they were tired. Their silence spoke louder than any punishment. It broke something in him, forcing him to reflect on all he had wasted. Tunde also returned home, expecting the same old criticism, but this time he carried proof of his effort. Though his family didn't change immediately, something shifted. They spoke less harshly, and for the first time he stood firm, no longer fully defined by their words. Emeka's visit home was filled with pride and celebration, a reminder of what support could build. Back at school, Sola changed. It wasn't easy, but he began attending classes, studying and rebuilding himself piece by piece. He reached out to his family, apologizing sincerely. Though trust wasn't restored overnight, the process had begun. Tunde, now stronger, continued to grow, learning that family support was important, but self-belief was equally powerful. Emeka remained steady, his journey proving that love and encouragement could shape greatness. The three young men, once so different, began to understand each other more deeply. Years passed and life moved forward. Emeka became highly successful in his career, respected and financially stable, his achievements rooted in the strong foundation his family gave him. Tunde also found success, not just in his career, but in his confidence. He learned to value himself, even when others didn't. Sola rebuilt his life slowly, earning back his family's trust through consistent effort. The three friends met again one evening, laughing about their past and reflecting on their journeys. They all agreed on one truth: family support was one of the greatest gifts in life. When you have it, value it. When you don't, build strength, but never stop appreciating the people who stand by you. Moral lesson: family support is one of the greatest gifts in life. When you have it, value it. When you don't, build strength, but never stop appreciating the people who stand by you.